Okay, hi all. I welcome you all for the Sprint 23 review for Pearson Go and Sprint 1 for Pearson English Mobile. So over to the developers.
Hi, Ian. So I'll start with Pearson Go Sprint 23.
Can you share the screen?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I hope you can see my screen.
Yeah.
So I'll start with
Yes,
this.
see that.
So this functionality was added earlier. The pending thing was there needed to be an image added as a close button. So I'll just show it here. So now if I go and download any app, any unit, sorry, you can see this close button over here. So if I want to cancel it, I can just step on it to close it. So that is completed now. So that is for AD653. And along with that, we have also completed this stopping the download process is not refreshed at once. So earlier, while we tried to cancel the download, there was a flickering on this unit name banner. So now it will not happen. So if we cancel it, it just everything will be fine as expected. So those were the things pending in Pearson Go. So we have completed that. And coming out to AUD 775, what happened earlier was in the player page. Let me just open it. So earlier in iPhones, when we have this transcript open and the audio was playing, the entire player would go up sometimes. So now if I pull it up, it will not drag. But earlier we had this problem of scrolling up. The player would scroll up along with the transcripts. So now it will not happen. So that issue is also fixed now. So I'll hand over to Gautam for the other issue.
Hi, Gerald.
He's in mute.
Yeah, sorry, I was on mute. You're right. So, hello. Hi.
I just wanted to confirm if you're recording. Okay. So we had taken one story, updating the FOG metadata contents. So we have updated it in the JSON file, and I'll just download the course. So this is the updated JSON values, Gerald. From previously it was a different one, and now it's the new updated JSON content. I mean the metadata. So and this thing has been checked by QA, and I guess that's all. And we have a small bug here. Like the duration of the tracks were mismatching at times. Like previously we had it to be a 1 second difference, and now
Yes.
some more time. I mean some more time difference is there for some units alone. QA had QA had reported a scenario where once we download two courses at the same time, and if we open both the courses, then there will be some slight mismatch in the time duration. We are checking it, but then we are not able to produce the correct scenario. So we are working on that, Gerald.
Okay. I mean, how much difference? Like 1 second? Oh.
It is now up to 3 to 4 minutes, Gerald.
Oh, right. Okay.
It happens only in some units, 1 or 2 units actually. and it's not consistent as well.
Sometimes,
it
yeah.
shows 3 minutes of duration difference, and
Sometimes
sometimes it's
it
just
shows.
1 second difference as usual.
Okay, yeah,
And
okay. I think
all
that's worth
the
investigating.
that we are showing here are fetched from the server metadata. So we are not giving any. It's not from the values that we give. It's taken directly from the downloaded files metadata from the server.
Right.
So
Okay. Okay. All right. Yeah, I think that's worth investigating. Yeah.
So
Thanks.
that's all on the Pearson Go, and
And just a quick update on Pearson Go, Gerald. So we checked with Jennifer for the transcript files for all the FOG levels, and she had shared for one level. We checked and then we have responded back with our comments. There were 2 mismatches, so we have informed her, and we are yet to hear back from her. So previously, what we have planned is we will wait for the transcripts and then the metadata content, and then once that those are all done, we will plan for the release. So now that we have
Okay.
updated the metadata content, we are still awaiting the transcripts. So once that is
Okay.
also done, we can proceed with the regression testing and then push for release. Is
That's
that
cool.
fine,
Okay,
Jero?
good. That's a good plan. Yeah, let's do that.
Okay. And
Okay.
I have sent you an email requesting for the translation for this release, Gerald.
Yeah, I mean, we've got the, I mean, it's the normal translations which we already have, which is for the, to say fixes and enhancements. I think I was just going to check the translation file to see if we talk about the new product. It may just be that we just put the new product name in because that doesn't get translated. So we might not need to go out to translations at all because we can just use the same ones as last time. But I'll double check that.
Okay. Sure, Gerald.
Yeah.
Anything else on
Okay.
Pearson? That's it. Okay. So let's move on to the other project, the Epic product. So who is going to present? Okay, Veena.
Hi, Jerome. Let me
Hiya.
start PEMOB 1 and evaluating Reader Plus SDK. Actually, we are not provided with the Reader Plus SDK from Shabir. Instead, he has provided .aar files for Android and pod files for iOS. But as we had discussed before, we had a plan to develop in hybrid, but actually that
Yeah.
will not work. We need web integrations for Reader Plus player, but that could
Okay.
not be done from our side. So it's quite difficult. We had discussed regarding
Yeah.
these 2 events. So
Yeah. Okay. As I said, I think last time, yeah, hybrid good unless there's a good reason. I think, and this discussion for me as well, I think there's a good reason not to go with hybrid and to go native.
Okay.
yeah, okay, that is all
Yeah.
from
So
my side.
I know that's a bit, but I always said that, you know, hybrid unless there's a very good reason. And I think what I'm hearing from everybody is we can't really achieve what we're trying to do, or it'd be very, very difficult to achieve what we're trying to do while still doing a hybrid. So, yeah, in that case, I think that's a reason to go native.
Okay.
Ian, do you agree?
I do. Yeah, I do, because I think we really do want to use the EPUB player. I think
Yeah.
that offers
Yeah.
quite a lot of advantages. I think what we do need to do, though, is make sure that we keep what's outside of it really simple as possible, because obviously we're going to have to develop it twice.
Yeah.
Ian,
Yeah.
sorry to interrupt. Can you please be a bit louder?
My microphone's too far away again. Yes. Just to say that what we should really try and do then is keep what's outside of that really, really simple, because we don't want these, we want the apps to be similar, but we don't want to actually, you know, we've obviously got to develop things twice. So let's not run away with one and then, oh dear, we can't do the other one because we put so much in one of them.
Okay, Jan.
Okay.
So that's the only question actually, Gerald. Do we therefore concentrate on one, or do we actually try and build them both simultaneously?
Well, I think because we're bearing in mind we want something that we can actually show, that we should just concentrate on one. That's my feeling. You know, until September or whatever, and then when we get into full development. But basically trying to get something that we can showcase. Then there's no point showcasing on 2 different things. So whether that's Android or iOS, I'm not sure really. which would be, guys, which would, if we had to choose one in the short term to go forward with the POC, which one would you choose?
So, sorry, Gerald, for the POC, in a sense, for the login and registration alone, you're asking?
Yeah, and also just not together, which we'll talk about later, I think, but not together. An example of what the application would look like. So
Actually, Gerald, till now, we have just created the login page alone in this hybrid thing. So initially, as we discussed, we were going to be, we were planned to develop in hybrid. So we have created one alone. But then now we have come to a clear point that we cannot use hybrid for this type of application. So it is better if we start in native itself for the POC also.
Okay.
So
but
the question
is, sorry.
Yeah. I was just going to say, the question is, now we're going to go native, which is the team's preference to develop in iOS or Android, bearing in mind what we want to do is develop a simple proof of concept application as quickly as possible.
Actually, Ian, we can start both. We have the strength, so we can split between ourselves and start Android and iOS as well for POC in parallel.
We can do both together, and I haven't really got a problem with obviously making sure one of them is done, but one of them will always be ahead of the other because you're always going to do one first. So which one would you do first? Which is the team's preference? Which one are they more familiar with? Which one's the easier language to develop in?
Okay, we have experts in both, so we are comfortable in doing both actually in parallel. So if one is required,
you want to prioritize anyone, it can be your choice.
Yes, we leave it to your choice because we are okay with any.
We are fine with both the platforms.
Okay. Not the answer we wanted.
We're a team of 5, and it will be better if we are given the chance to work on both.
Yeah. Do you know what? I think you can work on both, but when we're demonstrating this, when we do a POC app, we want to see it working. Sometimes quicker than we don't want to see it in 2. We just want to see it in 1.
Okay.
So I think what you're saying is you don't really know at the moment which one it is, but just bear that in mind that if you are developing a feature, develop it in the one that you can get something to show us the quickest.
Okay.
We don't want you to develop it in 2 and then say, oh, actually, we don't want that. Got to change it in 2. So I think it's quite important to develop in 1 first and then follow on the development in the other.
Okay.
Fine.
So it's finally your call, Zara. I mean, Iran. So we are comfortable with both, and it's fine.
Okay. I think in some ways the easiest one to demonstrate with emulators and anything else is probably Android, isn't it? I think.
Okay, Gerald.
Yeah.
That was a question, really. So I think it's probably Android, but
yeah. Suppose if you develop an Android, you can just show a demo easily because you'll get the APK file and it's easier to install than iOS.
Yes.
I think for that reason the Android one would be good. Yes.
Okay.
Fine then.
We'll start with Android.
Yeah.
Okay. Right. So that's the biggest decision made. What else have we got?
Okay, Ram, do you have anything to share?
So, Gerald, do you want us to show the previous demo which we had created in hybrid? Like the team had developed a login.
Yeah, well, yeah, sure. But I mean, I'm more interested in terms of whether identifying whether you found blockers or, if we said charge ahead, because the idea of the POC is really to investigate and find out how easy or difficult it is to do things. And I know we've done a lot of that. So so yeah, I'm more interested in your things you found out, as well as sort of showing it. But so
Okay.
let me ask a question. So if we've said, okay, let's go ahead with this thing for doing the registration, are you guys comfortable that you would charge ahead and actually develop that, albeit in Android or anything else? Or are there things that we don't know, things you need to find out more about?
Registration.
Okay.
I think we're not so much talking about registration, we're talking about authentication. So we're talking both of those,
Yeah, we
aren't
can't
we?
hear you again.
No.
Sorry.
Sorry, I don't know why my microphone keeps doing that. What we're talking about, is there anything, I mean, first of all, it'd be nice to know what you've done in the scope of your investigation. And then actually in terms of registration and authentication, i.e. logging in, is there anything that you are still not fully familiar with, or need any more time, or need any more help, or need us to get other people involved?
Could we please mute you for a minute, Leon? We'll have a quick discussion.
Okay. Yep. Sorry, too many questions there. Gerald, we'll talk amongst ourselves.
Okay. Yeah.
Is that okay, Gerald? That's what we want, isn't it?
Yeah. No, absolutely. Yeah. That's the whole idea of this, isn't it?
Yep. So I don't know if they can hear me. I hope I'm not distracting you if I am. Gerald, they showed me the other day they did the registration form and put it up on the iOS in native, and it actually broke the registration form, but it was on an iOS 5 device.
Right.
So not massively, but it didn't really come up strange. It's probably not valid anymore because it was in a hybrid app. Right. It looks like they're showing that now.
Yeah.
The things I'm interested in on this flow, Gerald, are where might it actually need to be changed to work in a mobile app?
Right. Okay. Yeah.
Because we don't want a second one. And the other one then is obviously authentication. How does that work? Anyway, I'll shut up. Sounds like they're ready.
Okay. Okay, guys.
We are back.
Yeah. Yes. Hi. Yeah. Hi.
So we had a discussion with the team. I'll just show you the thing we have created here, Gerald and Ian. So suppose this is the application which we have created. We have created this using React Native, and in some cases, like you had seen that day, this adult account and child account, this thing, button were overlapping one on the other. I guess Ian, you would remember.
That occurs in
I do remember, yes, I do. But see, I'm not seeing that now.
Okay. So suppose if we have to use the same web page for future use also, we would like to have these issues corrected so that we can use this in our application, because these small issues will, I mean, it might turn serious in later things.
So likewise, Gerard, and one more thing, we have identified two more issues for this little exploration. That is, if you change the language page, it is automatically redirected to the login. So you can see that. So likewise, we have identified two issues on it. Yeah, we just already reported to Ian. So it is so okay. So and then in this POC we have identified the API calls. So let me open the Jira. Okay, so actually we have got the API details shared. So in that case, actually, we can able to look only the login details, because for the other API details, we need an admin access. So as of now, the API calls is, we can, that is when a user is creating an account, so that API call we have identified. and when an user logins into the dashboard, so that API we have identified. So for the remaining all other APIs, we need an admin access. So
Okay.
yeah, so as of now we have identified till that. Okay.
I guess here's the question.
Yeah.
Do you need to identify all the API calls for the registration?
Okay, so the thing is, Ian, if we want to use the entire dashboard into our mobile, we don't want to identify the API, not the full APIs. But if we want to design the login dashboard page, we need the API calls.
That's right. For login, yes, we need the API calls. But
Yes.
for registration, we don't need them, because we'll identify any changes needed to that form and get the team who create that form to make those changes.
Okay, so
we
in
do
that,
not want to. Yeah.
In that case, actually, we need only some API calls alone, Ian, because see, there are some API calls that is how to tell
User roles.
Yeah, user roles, user groups. So that API calls we need to identify. So then we can redirect after login. We can redirect inside the. So you got my point, right? So that is, for an example, see, when the app is open, you'll be redirected to the login dashboard. So as of now, what you're looking in the screen, see, after the user registered or after the user tries to give the correct credential, we'll just move the dashboard inside our app. So for that, we need the API calls. For an example, I have given a sample credential. Now you can see that it was redirected to this dashboard.
Mm-hmm.
You can see that right in the emulator screen.
I can. So that sign in, I don't imagine you would use the web view. You will have to recreate that sign in within the app.
Yeah, that's what we're just trying to. So in that case, we'll need the entire API details.
That's right. Yes, I totally agree. But you've got the API details, haven't you?
Yes, but the thing is, for some API calls, we need the admin access to see the user groups, user roles. So for that, we need an admin credentials.
Why do you need the user roles?
User roles. Which user will be holding the product? Adult or children?
Like define like it's a adult user or a child user, and like what are the products he has purchased. So those kind of things. We tried those API calls in the Postman client. So
But
at the time
we are
we
not
got this admin access,
we are not
authorization
authorized.
issues we got.
Okay.
So,
I think you would just need effectively two calls. One is to authenticate, so authenticate the user, a username and a password. Am I logged in? The next one is what products have I actually entitled to use?
yes.
I don't see really that there's any need to know the role of the user or anything like that. It's just I'm logged in and this is the product, because I don't believe, Gerald, I'm right, am I? There is no teacher and parent and student version of this app. It's just a student version. It's just the app.
Absolutely right. Yes.
Okay, and here a query, Ian. See, actually, when a user registers for the first time, okay, so that is when a user enters inside the app. So we are just showing the login dashboard, and he just tries to create an adult account. See, as soon as the user gave the correct credentials, see, we are just getting a token.
Totally agree. So obviously, this all that will happen is when you will have your own screen, your own native screen with a username and password. The user will enter it, and then it will come back and it will go. It will not go to this dashboard that you're seeing now. It will go to the splash screen of the app, well, not the splash screen, the home screen of the app.
Yeah.
So, and then you will have some sort of token, as you say, so that on the next calls, it says, yes, I am an authenticated user.
Okay.
So this is kind of a session token that you'll be using in further API calls.
That's right. But unfortunately, if you remember, that is what Camille said the current API doesn't give you back. And that is why it would need an edge service to provide that, probably a JWT. I am going to introduce you to the guy from Apogee. I said I'd send an email out. I sent him one. I haven't got a reply to see if we can use that. Or it may be that we don't use that API at all. We log in directly with Rumba. It doesn't really matter. It's just authenticating the user and getting a session that we can then validate.
Okay.
So that's one half of it. The other half then is the registration. But don't be too concerned about the registration at the moment, because we will just use this web view that you've actually shown to register through that.
Okay.
In fact, Gerald, I think the registration we should sort of take off the table a little bit at the moment, because it can be added, it can be done. We can work it out when we've got an app that authenticates. You know, they are not going to be registering through the app.
No.
Other than through a web view to the web page.
Yes. Yeah. No, I agree. Okay.
And Ian, just to add on that, and so one more query. See, when a user download the app from App Store or Play Store, anything, so just a query, do we need, that is the child account and all, do we need?
So it really won't matter. The point is, if a user has a username and a password that works, you'll let them in. Then you can check what products they've got available to them, and if they've got one that you recognize, it'll work. You really don't mind what type of user they are: child, parent, student, teacher, doesn't matter.
Yeah. So I think we have to have some sort of free content, otherwise Apple will get upset before you
it's a different question. Slightly different question though, isn't it?
Yes, it is. But just to clarify, make sure people are not getting confused. So that I download my app, and then I will, I'm obviously designed this yet, but I will have something that I can actually access before I have to actually register. So I don't know if that's what you're thinking, but but to get into the main body of it, you would actually have to go through this.
Yeah, in fact, that's why, Gerald, we both discussed it, didn't we? We really need to work out and sort of do a bit of work on just that initial user journey.
Yes.
And maybe just give some clues as to how it's going to work.
Yes.
I've started it a little bit, so perhaps I'll share that document. It's not wholly helpful at the moment, but it's we'll keep working on it.
Yeah. Okay. Right, and then just the other thing when we get to registering for a product, so we've got the user login, the user sign in, so signed in, and then I want to be able to register for a product using a QR code or a barcode or anything else. So that's the other thing we need to put into that journey. And then I guess that's another call, isn't it, to actually validate that access code or whatever it is we're using.
It is. It's not impossible, Gerald, that we. Sorry, am I on mute? No, it's not impossible that we may just be able to call straight out to a web page that provides that functionality. In fact, I would suggest we do, because what we don't want to do is to build this adding products in lots of different places.
No, okay. All right, sorry guys and Chennai, we're just saying that it's a two-phase thing. So you in effect you create your account, as we've just been talking about, but then obviously when you want to get access to the body of the product itself, we have to scan the code. which means you then, if that code needs to be authenticated, and the back-end service will actually create that subscription or create that thing for that individual user, so that we know that they've successfully redeemed that code.
Gerald, can you please come again?
Yeah, so there's two phases. There's, I've created my account as a student.
Okay.
But then I need to actually redeem a code. So I like scan a code, which then actually gives me access to the product.
Okay.
So a bit like we did, we were looking at Big English thing, same kind of principle, except this time we've got a back-end service which will then authenticate that code and create the subscription for that product for that student.
Okay, so there are a few things involved here, Gerald. Suppose if the user has created a login, then we might need his credentials for the QR code to be created.
Yeah, I
the
think
data is somewhere,
yes.
and you are getting my
Yes.
point, right?
Yes, I know, totally. So it's a two-phase thing, really. I've got my account, and then
Yes,
I'll add
yes,
in.
Gerald.
So if you click on that screen, add product.
So after getting the user credentials.
Yeah. Yes, and then add in. So if you click on add product on that tab now on your screen. Yeah. So it's like this, okay. Code. So in effect, you're doing this, but you're doing this by scanning the code.
Gerald, your voice is breaking.
Sorry. So in effect, it's this same function. I'm using an access code, except for us, we're going to scan it from a QR code to actually make that access code.
Okay.
And then do the equivalent of somebody clicking that button, say access code, which will then validate that code. And if it's all okay, it will create for that student, it will create the subscription to that product. So we did. Do you see what I mean?
We'll have a discussion with the team, Gerald. Just a minute.
We'll just put you on mute.
Yeah, sure. Okay. So behind that screen, does that do a direct call to Rumba, do you think?
It certainly does, yes. And I'm looking at that in more detail now, Gerald. I found out quite a lot of interesting information about this whole login and registration screen and service. Some of it I like, some of it I don't.
Okay.
Not a surprise there, I suppose. It's I think one of the biggest issues I think you saw was if you log in with this service is asynchronous login. So you make a call to log in, and then it just comes back and say, okay, I've made the request to log in, and then you have to keep asking it, am I logged in? Am I logged in? Am I logged in? Am I logged in? Until you are, and then it says yes, you're logged in, and then you're okay.
Oh, really? All right.
Yeah. So it's sort of it's a nice way of writing, but it makes life a bit more complicated for anybody who's trying to use it as a service.
Yeah.
It's a bit of optimization for. Yeah, anyway, so that's why I'm thinking, do you know what? It might be easier to just log in directly via Rumba.
Yeah.
Because it makes no difference. All we need to do is this username, password correct? So there's two ways we can do that. The next one is, what products am I entitled to use?
Yes.
Now, on this one, unfortunately, you have to provide the ID within PEF, the PEF product ID, not the Rumba product ID.
Right.
Which again is a bit of a shame.
Yeah.
If you think about it, because it means every product that we ever want to put through the app must also be
has to be, with a different code, different ID.
And then we have to know what the mapping is, and doubtless we have to go to a publisher to get them to do that, which I don't think anybody should do that. Perhaps. Sorry, guys. We'll talk about this after, Gerald.
Yeah. Thanks, Gerald and Leon, for holding.
So we have a doubt, like this this QR facility over here, is it already used by the, I mean, it's currently used by the users?
It's for
Not sure. I mean,
Because
I can see that you
in a-
need to allow the user use one of your web camera. I
because
guess this is designed for web, so it's basically for desktop computers. So
it's not opening up
yeah,
here.
but I think in effect we want to build. We want our own version of this. Is what we said
Yeah.
about. I think Ian, we think we don't want to use this.
Okay.
This web
we
form for that.
we did a POC for Big English, right? So we can do a similar one for this one.
Yes.
For
Yeah.
scanner, and I'm sure they'll have an API for this access code as well. So
Yeah,
we'll
that
need
would be.
that.
That's what we're talking about. We
one
think
of the
that we'll do a direct call to Rumba to do that.
Yeah, one of the problems with this screen then might be, Gerald, that you won't be able to use this screen unless you've actually authenticated via the dashboard.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
and we may be able to use the API.
Sorry, Ian, you're very quiet again. Yeah.
Sorry, I don't know why my microphone. I think I need some new headphones. We'll check the APIs. It may be that we can use the APIs directly. In some ways, it's a shame. We would really just want to show up the web screen and show it, and again, not have it in multiple places. But we'll see.
Yeah. Okay.
Again, I think this is something it is a future story, but I think it's perhaps one that there are a few others that are more important at the moment.
Okay.
Yeah.
And one thing, Gerald, so if you get any samples on it, actually, for example, any access code like that or any QR code, if you get, so it will be easy for us to identify how it is used.
Working scenario.
Yeah, working scenarios. That is sample credential access code and QR code.
Okay, yeah, I mean, the QR code will be the access code, which is 16 characters or 15 or 16 characters in that kind of structure. Yeah. So in theory, somebody could type it in, but I mean, I think we're using the QR code just to make it easier and more reliable.
What's a very common way of doing it, Gerald, is to also have in front of it a domain and a URL. So actually that means you can use a completely generic QR code reader, and it would actually take you straight to this page and have the code entered, rather than you have to interpret it via this page. There are some advantages of that.
Okay.
But we can give you provide some examples of that code.
Yes. Yes. Right. Okie doke. Should we move on to the reader part? Is everything on this spike? Anything else anybody wants to ask? Or
actually, we still need access to one of their pod files.
Reader Plus.
From Reader Plus team. We had asked.
Yeah. Okay. So we move on to that now. So in terms of this registration and the login and stuff, can we leave that where it is now? I mean, I think we found out a lot. The guys done really good work. There's some other things, obviously, we need to look at in terms of the back-end servers. But I think I don't want to put words in your mouth. I think we're thinking if we have the APIs and stuff, then this is actually not going to be very, 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 very difficult. Yeah.
Yeah, we can. It's not.
Okay. Right. So should we move on to the thing about Reader Plus?
Yeah.
Gerald, we lost you in the middle. Could you please come again?
So should we move on to the Reader Plus part? Yeah.
Reader Plus, you mean the other tasks?
Yeah. On this spike, is there anything on basis there's nothing more to say about this one for the moment? The next spike, I think, is evaluating Reader Plus.
Okay. Okay, so the Reader Plus SDK, actually we have got permissions. AAR.
Actually, we are not provided with the Reader Plus SDK, Gerald. Instead, we have got .aar files, that is like Android archive. Likewise, we have got pod files for iOS. So we cannot use, we cannot check with Reader Plus SDK. Instead, we have got this. So using this, we can use it as a dependency in Android. So based on that, we can develop further.
Okay, sorry, I'm not sure I followed that. Sorry, what's the conclusion?
Conclusion.
So we have got an Android, that is AAR. So we have to work with Android. Native app and the further.
Yes. Okay. Yeah.
That is the conclusion of this spike.
Okay. But what about the actual ease or difficulty of actually embedding it and using it? Do we get that far to look at that?
We were not able to integrate in hybrid. We were asking web files in case of hybrid, but it was in testing phase. Also, it was done only in online, not in offline. So we cannot do that. Also, we have to host that in their server. We cannot do that in our server. We cannot host it from our end. So even the web team from Reader Plus, we felt like it will be quite difficult for us to integrate in hybrid, and it is quite complicated. Also, we'll have their dependencies from their side. So we came to the conclusion with native development in native.
Okay, so I think the coming sprint, and if we move forward on the Android .iOS, but move forward with Android in terms of the embedding and use of that.
Yeah, can I ask a quick question there first, Gerald?
Yeah,
so
sure.
We've now got the AAR file from Android. Have we been able to put it into an app yet, or have we not tried?
So still we haven't tried. Just we have tried to implement that in hybrid, but we can't. But maybe we'll just try it in the native Android.
There is some possibilities to integrate that, and there is possibilities to integrate that.
So we have to try it, Ian. So as soon as we tried it, we'll just show you the demo, and we'll just report if there is any issues on it.
Yeah, let's put that one in as a story then. That's great.
Yes.
Yeah. So that's yeah.
I don't, because guys, everybody's doing so much in this in the last couple of weeks. It was,
sorry, Gerald, we lost you.
So everybody's been. Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, sorry. Everybody's been doing so much work in the last couple of weeks, and we've really made some advances. Also finding out things that will work and won't work, and Ian's done a lot. So thanks, Ian. But I wondered if you just wanted to show that thing we were talking about end of last week, which was the barbecue plus the give these guys an idea of what we might be heading towards in terms of a product structure and that thing. Is that worth doing, do you think? You're on mute.
Yeah, sorry, Gerald, we didn't get you.
Sorry, I was talking to Ian actually.
And I'm on mute, but I'm not anymore. And I've got my microphone as well.
Good. Yeah. Okay.
So yes, I'm just going to add a working document because this is we'll keep working on this document. So just put a link in here. It might not have too much in it at the moment, but I've just got a few screens.
Okay.
Maybe I can show what. I'll share my screen as well. Hold
on. Ian?
Yeah, he's just sharing his screen now.
Okay.
I'm just sharing my screen. So I've I've put in a few. This really is just a very high-level user journey. So you've seen some of these screens that you've already put into your app. This is really just to get an idea of what the final thing will look like. So we go down through login. User might register. They create an account via the screen. We've seen all of that. Then here's the enter access code, scans code. Now, then when they've got a product, we will have something that looks like a product hierarchy.
Okay.
So here is the unit. Here is the course. Here's the level. Here's the unit, and here is a lesson 1, lesson 2, lesson 3, and we envisage that each of those lessons will link through then to a Reader Plus EPUB document. What I'm just going to show you, which is what Gerald was asking, but I've got to find it here. Hold on a second. Actually, it's in. It might be in here. No, it's not in there. Hold on. So, can you still hear me? What this tool is something that's being created internally. I've just got a very it really is just an editor at the moment, so I can edit this course, and you will notice it looks remarkably similar to this one on the left. What we imagine is that the authors will create this structure using this tool, because then they can go and edit each individual node and put things in them. But we will then be able to export this course as a JSON file, or whatever the format we actually want, and then within the app we'll make something look very similar. Obviously it won't have the editing ability, but it will allow people to navigate through to each lesson. In this case, there's a lesson, and there are all the individual activities within a lesson. So imagine we've got to the lesson. Here we have the lesson here then. A user's got as far as it. That downloads then an EPUB. The EPUB then looks something like this. This is the Reader Plus player.
Okay.
So if I go back to those links that we had from, in fact, I think I might.
Ian, a bit louder, please.
Okay, sorry, I can't find the links to Reader Plus at the moment. Maybe I can. Reader Plus Sandbox. Oh, there we go. I'm logged in. So here are some EPUBs that I've created. So here is my version 9. Now this is just a web view. This is an EPUB. So that's what will fit inside your Reader Plus player.
Okay.
And it's got, as you can see, it's got video in it.
Okay.
I don't need to show any more of that. But you see what this is now is epic. I mean, in this case, it says page 52 practice. We see this as being a lesson. In this lesson, you have learned how to. Here are some materials. Here's some material. Maybe watch this video. And here are some exercises. We can actually have other links to other pages in here. It actually has a table of contents, but again, we think this is one lesson's worth of content, so we're taking it completely out of the app and putting it in the EPUB. At the moment, I can't click these exercises, but I imagine there will be some exercises here that you will link to as well. And it may be that we link to external things. And in this case, there is just a link to another page with a larger video on it. If I come back to here, was there anything else? Not at the moment. I haven't put anything else in there. These individual activities. I wonder if I can show you this. I might be able to. Hold on. Here's one, vocabulary one, index, and open with Chrome. This then is just an individual activity. So I imagine when a user clicks on this link, it would just open this activity. And there is an authored bit of content. Again, it's all a HTML5 object. So it will be displayed either in the Reader Plus or maybe shelled out from the Reader Plus and displayed in a web view. But then, so the content package will include all of these things. Gerald, anything more you want to say?
No, I was saying, so I mean, that's our end goal, to have something that's got that product structure in the center of it that Ian showed, with the with the units and the level lessons, etc. But then this is what we want the Reader Plus to be able to do, to have somebody called it a landing page, so that when you click on that practice, you end up with something that's got those different things grouped together. And that's why we want to use the EPUB format, because it's a very easy way of creating content and into a sort of a spot where you've actually got everything together in one practice. Could you hear okay, guys?
Yeah.
Yes?
Yes, Gerald.
Yeah, okay. So the goal for where we're going now is that, in September, we want to be able to mock up or have something that kind of shows this with the various bits and pieces. Now, it doesn't all have to be working properly. We can mock up some things, but the goal is to have something that looks like a very thin slice of what the eventual products will look like. And that's really what we're aiming towards. We've made such a big, as I said, such a big leap forward in the last week or two. But this is the end goal. So we have something that's actually got that product structure, but the way the activities and things are organized, it resembles a lesson or a task that the student's going to have on the way home. They're going to look at the lesson, the practice material for the lesson they've just done, or the lesson they've just looked at in the book, or whatever it might be.
Okay, Gerald.
Yeah. So some of these things, like the JSON stuff, is obviously fairly familiar. And what we have to do is work with our publishing people to get them on board, to understand that this is actually, the best way to actually do what we're trying to do. And it means, the tools and things they use are much simpler, because almost like editing tools, as opposed to some of the tools we've used in the past, which have been almost more complex than the actual application itself.
Okay.
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 Yes, Gerald.
Okay, so the main goal for this next week is then, with the Reader Plus side of it, is to get to the point where we can play what Ian's just showed you embedded within the mobile app. Yeah, I think that's a good target, to actually be able to have one of these EPUBs with the links and everything else, and be able to demonstrate that.
Okay.
Sorry, I was on mute and I lost my window.
Right.
I was just going. Just to add to that, Gerald, you talk about the simple tools. This is Sigil, which is just a really, really simple EPUB editor. So I've opened up that same EPUB screen that I've shown you, and as you can see, it really is a simple editor that the team can use. It is HTML. You can see the code as well, and then File, Save As, and I can save this as an EPUB. Those are the files that you will be importing into the, downloading and opening up in the Reader SDK or the Reader component.
Okay.
Okay. I mean, hopefully that makes more sense now. I think, we've been diving off in different directions, but I thought it was worth giving you guys, let you see what the end result we're aiming for.
Okay.
Okay, thanks, Ian.
Gerald, just a small clarification. The September POC which you are telling is for Android alone, right? Which we had discussed right now.
Yes, yes. I think we took that decision, didn't we? Yes.
Okay, okay, Gerald.
Gerald, I'm on holiday from Thursday,
Yes.
so I don't know if you want to just catch up in the next couple of days, and we'll just sort of maybe put an outline of what we think that POC needs to be. That POC,
Yes.
that demonstration.
Yes. Okay.
Doesn't.
And these various tools and things, so that the team can actually get their head around some of this stuff. Yeah. We're documenting this. Yes. I mean, we've got these working documents, everybody, that you shared, so that as we're building up, then that should be all in that little library of documents. Okay. Any questions at this point?
As of now, we don't have any queries, Gerald.
Yeah, so I think the target is to get the Reader Plus thing into the mobile app and be able to take one of these EPUBs, as Ian's shown you, and actually render that. And as I said, with a bit of JSON to make it look like that structure, the product structure.
Okay, Gerald. We'll discuss, and if we have any queries, we'll let you know.
Yeah. Okay. Good.
Great. I understand I do understand we've shown you quite a lot here, and I can understand why it might be a little bit confusing at the moment, but don't hesitate to contact Gerald or myself. I'm on holiday for a couple of weeks, but if there's anything, it doesn't mean I'm completely out of it. So.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
Sure. Yeah.
Okay. The other thing is just to say, we've got David, the product owner, starting on next Tuesday. So I think it'd be quite a good idea if we could just have a session at some point on next Tuesday with him in Poland, and then we can talk through a lot of the stuff. And he's obviously going to take a long time to get up to speed. So yeah, I think it'd be good to have a session with him so I can introduce you to him and explains these things we're doing.
Okay.
Okay, that's great. Okay. Anything else?
Anything else, team?
That's not.
No. Okay. Lots to think about. But thanks a lot. Actually, we really have made progress. It's brilliant, and I think having the goal in sight is quite good in terms of September. Actually, get this thing so that we can demonstrate.
Yeah. Sure, Gerald.
Okay. Good.
Okay.
Right.
We'll continue to work on this. Yeah. Okay.
Please. Yes. Yeah. Great. Okay.
So for the kickoff, we will just attach this document in Jira, and we will continue work on that as a spike. Is that right?
Yes. That outline kind of user flow, user journey, it would be quite good because that's their target to actually be able to show the points in that user flow.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Great.
Okay, fine.
There's nothing else. Thank you very much. Thanks for your hard work.
Thanks, Gerald. Thank you. Bye.
Bye-bye.